Alright, we move on to question 13. There were 12,600 residents staying in the neighborhood, and after that 20% of the residents left. So if you would like to, you would probably want to highlight this sentence, and if the 20% has left, meaning how many people are remaining? Okay, remaining will be 80%. So we want to find out how much is this 80%. So we want to find out how much is this 80% who are staying, because 20% has left, right? So let's change this to a fraction of means times 12,600, which will give us 10,080. These are the people who are still staying. 20% left already. Okay, now after that, it's not that's it, 10,080. After that, the total number increased all the way to 12,000. Why? Because some new residents moved in. So how many people actually moved in? Let's find out. 12,890. And compared to the original number who stayed on, let's see how many people actually moved in. There were a new residents of 2,000 over. New who moved in. So I'm just going to write simple English inside. Alright, how many residents stayed in the neighborhood last month? So I think we have already found out part A. This is 10,080. They are the 80% who still stayed on. Okay, now part B. What is the percentage of the new residents in the neighborhood now? Now percentage again is a fraction out of a fraction. Okay, so the number on top that we are concerned with is the new people, and the number that we are concerned with is the total. So the number of new residents who moved in, we know that is 2810, and the total number of new residents now, it's going to be stated in the question, right? 12890. Now how to change this to a percentage? One way you can change the denominator to 100, which is not going to be easy, right? So we learned that the method 2 was just to multiply everything by 100. Okay, you will get about 21.799 something ... Then let's round it to one decimal place. 21, one decimal is here, and looking at the digit behind, we need to round the 7 to an 8. So to one decimal place. So the answer, 21.8%. Question 14. Now, question 14, you should rejoice if you see bar graphs, because bar graphs and line graphs are really easy questions. First thing that you always have to do is to write down the numbers. Now, this step is important in exams because you will want to make sure the numbers are correct. If the numbers are wrong, I don't think you will be able to solve the questions with the right answer as well. Okay, so these are the numbers. Please check. Now, 14a says, what was the ratio of the number of apple to the number of total? Apple, we know is 45. Now, total is something that we will need to find out, right? So let's find out at the side. 55 plus 45. Okay, 30 and 30. Again, remember, there's no need to do the workings because the calculators are there beside you. So we have 160. Okay, now you want it in the simplest form. Because you have a calculator, it's also very easy to express ratio in the simplest form. 45 is to 160 in your calculator is the same as 45 out of 160. When you press this in your calculator and you press an equal, straight away you will get a simplest form. The calculator can calculate for you easily. Okay, and you get 932. So the simplest ratio, 932. I don't even need to divide anything because I press the fraction in the calculator and it gives me the simplest fraction, which is the same as ratio. Okay, that's for part A. So let's label part A, make our work tidy. Now part B says 2/5 of the orange were chopped off. Now 2/5 of the orange, 2/5 of orange is going to be chopped off. This is an English again that we want to change it to maths. 2/5 of orange. Orange is how many? 55. So we are going to find out what is 2/5 times 55 with your calculator. We know that it's 22. Now 22 orange are cut off. So I'm going to write English here. Okay. What is the ratio of the apple to the total now? Okay. Now apple doesn't change, right? Apple, it is still 45. Now the problem comes in with total. The total was supposed to be 160. But because you have chopped off 22 oranges, it's no longer 160. It is lesser than 160. So with a calculator, I calculated 138. Similarly, you can always press this in the calculator. You will get 15 over 46. Again, remember, this is in fraction. You will want to change it back to ratio. Simplified ratio. Okay, so part A of the answer, part B of the answer, hashtag. That's question 14. Okay, question 15. Now I'm going to save time with question 15 because question 15 requires a little bit of guess and check. And for a 5-mark question, I leave it to you to decide in the exams. If you prefer to leave guess and check question to the last, do so. Because guess and check is time consuming, I know, but 5 marks makes it all the worth. So for question 15, why do I know it's a guess and check? Because of this statement here. 455 cars and motorcycles all together, and they have a total of 1,440 wheels. Alright, so I need to find how many cars, how many motorcycles, and the total of their wheels make up 1,440. So in my guess and check, I will need to have at least 2 main sections, one for motor car, one for car, and what is the total wheels. Okay, and of course the last column is for me to check. Okay, now 450 cars and motors, I can have maybe 200 cars, and remaining will be 250, right? So 250 plus 200 gives 450 cars. Now cars has 4 wheels, so I'm just going to do a first wrong check. 250, I know wheels for motor bicycles have 2 wheels. That makes 500. Total wheels 500 plus 800, 1003, which is not very close, but not too bad. Okay. Now, reason why I'm going to save time because I don't want to spend too much time on guess and check in this video. I'm just going to get you to know that by guessing slowly, you will be able to arrive at 270, and for motor bicycle, motor car, it will be 180. Okay, this is after a few guesses, and I'm able to guess to the number. Okay, and if you do a double check, it should give you 1440. So the number of motorcycle is 180. The number of cars 270. Remember, circle. Circle helps you to see which is the important number. Alright. Now, how much car park charges? If you have 270 cars and each car is going to be charged $15, let's find out how much money will be collected. You will get to collect 4,050 for car. Let's find out if you have 180 motorcycle and you're going to be charged $5 per motorcycle. You will have to collect $900 in total. So how much charges for the whole entire thing will be 4,050 plus $900, which will give me a total of 4,950 as my final answer. Okay, now be very patient because if it comes to 5-mark question, you know you have to go through a few steps. For guess and check, if you have to spend 10 minutes on it, do it. Okay, there could be a minimum of 1 guess and check question in the exams, just to see how you manage your time well. Alright, and how you do your intelligent guessing. Because Okay, it can take several tries to make sure you get 1440. Okay. Alright. Question 16 now. Question 16, Lily is going to spend 1/3 of her money, okay, with 4 writing pads and 60 pens. Now the cost of each writing pad is 3 times as much as the pen. Again, if you remember what we did at the start of the year, we always want to use a sentence, a short story, and make it into a drawing. So we have got a writing pad and we have got a pen. Okay, now the writing pad is going to cost more expensive. It's going to cost 3 compared to the pad, which is 1. So this is for 1 pen, this is for 1 pad. Alright, now how many did Lily bought in total? Lily bought a total of 4 writing pads. So we're going to extend the model so that we have a second pad, we have a third pad, a writing pad, the third one, and then we have the 4th writing pad, which is also costing 3 units. Now, whereas for pens, there's going to be 16. Now, I'm not going to be so silly and draw 16 boxes. Instead, sometimes I can do it this way. So I know that there's a total of 16 boxes. Okay. Now, all this, did she say how much did she spend? She didn't say that, but she did say that she will spend 1/3 of it. Okay, so let's count the number of units. I have 16 in total for the pen, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 units. Okay, now this 28 units, she's going to use 1/3 of her money to buy. Okay, let's continue reading the story. She bought some more writing pads with 3/4 of her remaining money. Wow. Let's write down the English. 3/4 of her remaining money. Now, do you know how much is the remaining money? If you have spent 1/3, what do you think is the remaining money? It will be 2/3, isn't it? Because you spend 1/3, you are left with 2/3. So 3/4 of the remaining would mean 3/4 times 2/3, which in a fraction form will be 6/12. Alright, now we are all talking about the same money, her money. So if this is a denominator of 12, we will want to make this denominator of 12 as well, so that it's easier to compare. So she has spent 4 units, and she used 6 units of the money on the pads. Up the workings, let's just bring this down to make it a nicer working. So I have 12 of her money is being spent on 28 units worth of stuff. Okay. Now let's find for 1 unit first. 28 divided by 4, which is going to give us 7. Now remember, she spent 6 units of the money on the remaining of the money on the pads. So the 6 units, let's find out how many units of stuff can she buy. She can actually buy 42 units of the things. Okay. Now if you know that one writing pad is made out of 3, and we want to find out how many writing pads she can buy. One writing pad, remember, is 3 units. So with the 42 units that she can buy, each writing pad 3 units, we divide it by 3, we will be able to find the number of writing pads she bought, which is 18. Okay, now this question is quite interesting, so you might want to spend a little bit of time, rewind, and try to digest what is actually happening here. Okay, remember, even if you can't solve the question proper, try to get M1 here and there as well. Okay, now let's go on to question 17. This is the challenging question. I'm going to denote this as 17. If after rewinding and rewinding you still do not understand question 17, please save time, move on. Alright, this question is meant for high ability ones who are able to understand the concept well. Okay, now let's go on. So Mrs. Poon had 255 roses and lilies in her shop. There were 15 fewer lilies than roses. So shorten the story. I have lily, I have roses. Lily and roses has got more. Lilies is the one that's lesser. 15 lesser. And a total of 255. Okay, now this is a stage that everyone should clear. You should know. Now to find one equal unit, let's take away the 15, which gives us 240. 240 we divide it by 2, which is going to give us 120 for each unit. So these are the lilies and the roses that she has in the shop. Okay, now things are going to happen in the shop. She's going to sell and she's going to have things that are left. Alright, now let me repeat. There are things that she's going to sell. There are things that's going to be left. Okay, now remember and understand this. The number that you sold plus the number that you left, isn't it the total that you started at the beginning? Okay, you have some flowers left. If you add to the number that you sold, the total will be the number that you had at the beginning. Am I right? So what we're going to do is we are going to separate our workings or models into two parts. Before and after. Instead of before and after, sold and what is left. Okay, let's read on the clue. She sold half as many lilies as roses. So she only sold half of it. Meaning if she sold 1 unit, she will have sold 2 units of roses. That makes lily half of it. Okay, and what about left? She was left with twice as many lilies and roses. Now, take note, the units over here for the left did not be the same equal units as the one for sold because it's different amount we are talking about. So what I'm going to do is, if you have a different color, you can do that. For me, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dot it to show that the units for here isn't the same as the one for sold. She was left with twice as many lily. So this one dotted things is trying to tell you that the dot 1 unit here doesn't mean the same as 1 unit here. Okay, know what I'm trying to say, right? So now, just now remember at the beginning of the story I said whatever you sold plus whatever you have left should be the amount that you had at the beginning, right? So this is the beginning. This was at the beginning before you started selling everything. And then this was the sold and this was what is left. The sold and what is left add up together will be the amount that you had at the beginning. Alright, before it was being sold. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually just add back what was being sold. Because adding back what was being sold will give this section that I'm highlighting here, back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to draw back what was being sold. This was being sold. For roses, this was being sold. This was being sold. Okay, so I'm no longer going to have this anymore. The sold part is being removed. It's been gone back to beginning. So I'm going to change the heading now. Okay, now these two models are the same, beginning and beginning, meaning to say this is 1, 2, 0. And below here, roses, 120 plus 15, 1, 3, 5. Okay, now this question looks very similar to one of the questions we had earlier about the chairs and the bed. Okay, if you notice, it's very hard to compare. You have got 1 unit here, 2 units here, and then you have got 2 blank units here and 1 blank unit here. Very hard to compare. So why don't we make one of the factor a common denominator? What do I mean? I'm going to redraw it this time round. Now, it's better to make one of the factor the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the shaded unit common to the one below. I'm going to double up what is for the lilies here. So that this 1 shaded becomes 2 shaded. 2 empty becomes 4 empty boxes. Okay, so I'm going to have 4, 1, 2. What I'm just doing, I'm just doubling up. Okay, instead of 1 shaded, now it becomes 2 shaded. Now for roses, I'm going to keep it the same. 1 empty and 2 shaded. Okay. This is 1, 3, 5. Now the number for lilies will have be different because I double up everything. So the total 120 has to be doubled up as well, which gives us 240. Okay. Now just now you might be wondering, how come I'm doubling up all the lilies? Because take a look. Now there's a common denominator. 2 shaded. There's also 2 shaded here. 2 empty, but there's only 1 empty here. So can you see what is the difference between the two? The difference lies with 1 extra empty unit. Now this 1 extra empty unit is the number that's causing this to be bigger than this one. Alright, similar to the bait question, isn't it? So the extras is caused by 1 extra dotted unit, the empty unit. So I can safely say that this 1 dotted unit, I'm just going to write in English, 1 dot unit, okay, is 240 minus 135, which gives me 105. Okay, I've spotted a mistake. So let me just do a little bit of corrections over here. I do not want to rewind and restart the video. Now just now I said I double lilies everything up. 1 shaded becomes 2 shaded. 2 empty boxes should become 4 empty boxes. Okay, so I made a mistake over here. Double up everything. And this whole entire thing is 240. Okay, so 2 empty lily becomes 4 empty lily. 1 shaded lily becomes 2 shaded lily. So a total of 240 for lilies. So I made a mistake. I forgot to add the 2 boxes. Now let's compare again. Let me just erase my mistake off again. Okay. So just now I was saying there's a common denominator, isn't it? The 2 shaded for lilies, there's also a 2 shaded for roses. There's only 1 empty here, but there's 4 empty lilies. So the number 240 has been bumped up from 135, all because of 3 extra units for lilies. So the 3 lilies, 3 dotted lilies unit actually stands for the difference, which is 240 minus 135, which is a total of 105. Okay, 1 dotted would be 105 divided by 3, which gives me 35. So this is 35, 35, 35. I'm filling in all the numbers, 35, 35, 35, 35, and here is 35 as well. All these are for the dotted units. Alright, if you have trouble trying to understand, re-look at the picture again and see what I mean. Okay, the shaded is the same. The only difference lies in with 4 units for lily, 1 unit for rose. So the extra 3 units goes to the difference between these 2 numbers. Okay, so the question is asking, let's go back to the question. How many roses were sold in all? So those that were sold refers to the one here. I'm going to put in a question mark here. So are you able to find how much is being sold? Looking at the picture. How much roses were sold? So roses would be 2 shaded box that are being sold. Let's find out 1 shaded box first. Okay, it's going to get a little messy. 120 minus 35 gives you 50. So each shaded box is 50. 50. How many roses were sold? 50 times 2. The answer is 100. Quite an interesting question for the people who love challenges. This will be 1. Okay. Now we move on to the last question, which is question 18 on volume. Okay. Now the empty tank below measured 60 by 20 by 30. So we are going to have the water pouring in and then the tank suddenly become 1/3 filled. So let's find out the volume of the tank first. 60 times 20 times 30, which will give us 36000. Now this 36000 is if the tank is fully filled. But the problem is they only say it is 1/3 filled. So if it is fully filled, 333, it will be 36,000. But the problem is only 1/3 filled. So we want to only find how much the water is when it is 1/3 filled, which will give us 12,000. Now all these are in cube centimeters. Okay, so let's continue the story. And all these are being poured with the bottles, 8 bottles. Alright, so 12,000, we want to find out how much did each bottle fill the tank with. It will be 1,500. Let me write down the English, 1 bottle. Okay, now all this again is in is in cube centimeter. Okay, so they said that the jug could contain 2.5 liters. Now the tricky part is now the units is in liter. My answers throughout has always been in cube centimeter, so we ought to change this to liters and milliliters, isn't it? So if you recall, cube centimeter is the same as milliliter, and for 1,500 milliliter to become a liter, small unit to big unit, we need to divide, or times, we need to divide by 1,000. 1, 2, 3. 1.5 liter makes 1,500 cubic centimeter. So they say that the jug is going to hold 2.5 more than the bottle. So if this is 1.5, this will be 1.5 plus 2.5 gives you 4. Okay, now how many more jugs of water needed to fill the tank to the full? Now how much more water do you need? You started off with the tank that's 36,000. You only fill up 12,000 of it, right? Which means that you got an additional 24,000 to fill up. And this 24,000 is the same as 24 liters. Okay, and you know each jug could fill 4 liters. 24 liters, you need to fill up 24 liters, and each jug fills up only 4. You need a total of 6 jugs to finish filling up to the full. Alright, so this is the attendance code for the day 2's lesson. So you have got number, password this time round. Again, remember to pause if you need to.